You're on.
Good afternoon, Upsala, yeah, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to touch base and kind of come into some explanations and possibly some solutions here concerning some of the things that we're doing with right now. With the tribe is out there making an effort to stop non-residents coming onto the reservation, and I believe that that's needful, and I really think that we should have it, although we have to go about it in an accurate position, strong legal position. Right now we have executive orders, from the governor office, and his executive order doesn't restrict recreational, you know, being out and about, being out and about in the state of Montana for recreational purposes. It doesn't restrict that. I believe that Chairman Not Afraid had set something up, and as far as an executive order, the executive order is not strong enough for him to make that move here on the Crow Reservation because of Indian law and our jurisdiction. Our jurisdiction is different than the state of Montana, is different than other tribes, and as you all know, there's 574 tribes. Things are different here on the reservation. As a treaty tribe, we have, with our territory, we have to have our rule of law intact. Right now, what was bypassed in this whole process was the legislative branch. The legislative branch needs to step up and make some formal action in the form of legislation. And that legislation could be through their legislative resolution process, but I think it would be stronger and better if both executive and legislative branch stood together. And I think this is the path forward that the chairman should have taken at the onset for other jurisdictions to recognize and respect. The executive order does a couple of things there which helps in these matters. It gives notice that this is not what we're allowing, and it speaks to various areas that are deemed from the executive branch as essential and non-essential purposes of travel within the reservation. And so that's good, and I think that if we utilize the rule of law on the Crow Reservation and allow the legislative branch, because they are in charge of all trust properties in regard to right-of-ways, ingress and egress, trust properties and assets such as recreational rivers, mountains and streams, tributaries, the hills, being out and about. Nothing against the executive order. I believe that it was a good move, and I commend the chairman for the executive order. But to be in line with the rule of law of the Crow tribe, a joint action resolution is required. A joint action resolution can be called in 2 days, and like I said, within those 2 days, they can call for this special session to pass this joint action resolution. The executive order has language in there that basically, if that's what they want installed in this joint action resolution, that language should stay. But if there's things pertaining to the geography, to the jurisdiction of the districts, you've got You got St. X, the Fort Smith area. There's access through the canyon. Nobody's watching that. It's pretty obvious on Facebook where, there's boaters out there. We don't know what's going through that canyon, to tell you the truth, from Barry's Landing to the Okabam Marina, and we have to have access there for the locals, and we have to protect the locals in any way, shape, or form, and this joint action resolution should be able to do that. With respect, the state of Montana as well as the federal government will respect the joint action resolution. There's the situation with Prior Gap, the road to through Edgar. There's the Blue Creek. There's the Old 87. There's you've got, then you got, the areas there around the Black Lodge district, the back doors through the Sarpy mine, through the junction road that goes over by Sarpy. Then there's accesses, we've got Wyoming, we've got Wyoming area there, the back roads through the mountains. There's a lot of coverage, and right now, on a whim, there's no delegated authority right now to any set one person, like a DHS, like a Crow Land and Security Officer, to do anything right now that has been confirmed by the Crow Legislative Branch to do anything. And I'm not saying that that's gonna solve all the matters. Although even if there is a confirmed Crow Land and Security Officer right now, I believe that it still has to go through legislative branch. Again, for some of the people that just came on, the Crow Legislative Branch, and the purpose of why I'm saying this is that the Joint Action Resolution will speak to the issue of jurisdiction and sovereignty in these areas, because they do hold the sole authority under their enumerated powers for all tribal interests and assets. And so everything that pertains to tribal interests and assets, such as your jurisdiction and your sovereignty, your land, your access, your ingress and egress, your right of ways, your air, everything that pertains to that covers our tribal, that covers tribal jurisdiction, the tribal legislative branch has to chime in on that. And I would strongly suggest that anybody out there that's listening to this need to get a hold of your legislative branch members and let them know that this is what needs to be done. As a former legislative senator for the Black Lodge District, 8 years I served, and I served as Natural Resources Chairman for a majority of those years, Infrastructure Chairman for all of those years, and so I understand what I'm talking about here. And so I hope and pray that everybody's staying, doing the self-quarantining and doing the, staying away from certain crowds and off reservation and in reservation, and that you're keeping everybody in mind. I'm not saying that tribal members can't go out there and do this and do that. We're inside, and that doesn't make sense for us to be shut down, for us to go out there. And I understand there's a lot of people out there that don't have no food. So there's grouse, there's deer, there's elk, and hopefully we can and this is a suggestion. Hopefully we can go ahead and butcher some buffalo to give out to the districts. We got enough people out there that know how to do all this stuff that I don't think it would be a problem. But once again, joint action resolution needs to be established Right now, it's going to turn into a big mess between jurisdictions, and these executive orders did not eliminate access so for recreation. Mr. Chairman, whoever's affiliated with him, I would ask that even the speaker call a special session in regard to this matter. We're in a life and death situation right now, where right now, yeah, we're saying, my little brother Carl Littlewall is out there saying, yeah, we don't have nothing on the reservation yet, but we don't know that. We don't know that. We're not health professionals. But and I applaud their efforts that, for trying to keep the reservations safe. That's, above and everything. We have to be cognizant of that fact, that we have to keep our people safe. And I applaud the efforts that everyone's doing, although I believe that there's a right way to do this, and it would only take a couple days to establish a joint action resolution. And this is what I would strongly suggest that we do, as far as being legal and on the up and up within the reservation, that we would have federal support on this matter. And being that that President Trump has already called a national emergency, as a government-to-government relationship, as a sovereign nation, working with the federal government concerning legislation that we pass for purposes of safety, they would be adhered to. The state would have to adhere to it as well. And so, with that being said, I want to sign out. I want to wish everybody a good day. Today is a good day. If you're out there fishing, have fun. If you're out there with your family, have a good time. As Crows, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. We're strong. We're resilient. We're warriors in heart. We have warrior blood flowing through our veins, and nothing's going to stop us from continuing to live on. Crows will always be here. We're blessed. So with that, I want to sign off. Aho.